Do you remember me telling you about a little known project by the name of Star Citizen? Ring a bell? Ring a bell? Well, there's a project associated with it called Squadron 42. This is a single player narrative game that features some pretty phenomenal voice acting. I mean, they've got Henry Cavill in this, Mark Hamill. I mean, they got a lot of people. Oh, look who it is. Look who it is.
Farthest reaches of the universe. Forging connections that will last your entire life. Fighting to protect your home and loved ones. Or even learning what you're truly capable of.
It's the guy.
Those are just the perks.
They've almost raised $1 billion. Not quite. I think they're at like 940 million or something like that. They're almost there. They've almost reached $1 billion. When they do, you better believe we'll make a video on it. But they are working on this single player narrative game called Squadron 42. So they will have the single player, and they will have the persistent universe multiplayer, which is what you can play right now. What you're seeing on screen is a snippet that they shared last year, I believe. No, 2 years ago, I believe it was. Let me see. October of 2024. Okay, so like last year, a little over a year ago. But in this, they showed an hour of the single player game, just what it's like. And it basically takes a lot of the tools and things that they built for the persistent universe, and then they put it into a single player package. And their goal apparently is to ship this as a standalone experience. And the hope, of course, is that people will then play it, be like, ooh, that's awesome, I want to play with my friends. And then they go and spend time and money in the persistent universe, where they happen to sell like $400 ships and $1,000 ships and stuff, so they can make money off of you that way. But this seems to be a very, very ambitious single player FPS. It's been in development for ages, but with this whole thing that they revealed last year, they confirmed that their goal was to release in 2026. That was the intention. They announced that in 2024, I believe it was, and the hope and expectation was that they would be revealing it and showcasing more, but releasing in 2026. Now, after that, they had some people involved with the project saying, I don't know if we'll hit that date, but we're going to try, and stuff like that, which seems to be walking it back and setting the expectation maybe we're not going to hit that date. But nonetheless, it was debated whether they would actually hit that release date. However, there's an update. At the end of the year, founder and CEO Chris Roberts wrote a blog post called Letter from the Chairman. It's a long post where he goes through kind of the state of the game, what they're doing, and this is a pretty regular thing that they do. But you can see he posted about Squadron 42. What he said was, on the Squadron 42 front, our focus throughout 2025 was to build on the progress of 2024 and what we showed at last year's CitizenCon by bringing the game to content complete and closing out remaining core tasks in preparation for beta. All chapters are now fully playable from beginning to end, and we've been playing through the game ourselves regularly. Squadron 42 is a large game, over 40 hours in length, and it's becoming increasingly clear how special it will be once the remaining polish, optimization, and bug fixing is complete. A big part of what makes this possible is the technology we built at CIG over many years. The ability to move seamlessly from on foot into a vehicle, and you can fly, move around inside, down to a planet or across star systems, all without loading screens, creates a level of immersion that's very difficult to replicate. You want to know what's funny? In the wake of Starfield, shocker, take a shot, Luke said Starfield. In the wake of Starfield, people were, of course, complaining about the load screens being everywhere and about all sorts of stuff. But in the aftermath of it, it was, let me double check the exact release date. It was November of 2023. So Starfield launches in like early September, late August, early September. And then in November of that year, CIG posts this, and this is a demo of their Star engine. This is what's being used to power the persistent universe and Squadron 42. And this is, no joke, like one of the most impressive tech demos that I've ever seen for a game engine. It's absolutely outrageous, where they show going straight from planet surface into space, from there going to a space station, showing interiors, and then they go down and they swoop all the way down, physically based atmospheres with multiple light scattering, and you'll see they actually go straight down onto the planet's surface, and they do this over the course of like 25 minutes, just showcasing the seamless transitions. And this is something if you don't believe it, you can get the game yourself and fly around like this. It's actually insane. Not this fast, because this is obviously sped up for the sake of the demonstration, but in a ship, like you can actually go from planet surface all the way through without load screens. And you can see like straight down into the environment, no load screens, just showing how seamless it is. Doesn't run this smooth at this point, I'll tell you what. It's pretty janky when you try to play it, but they've got all this just working. Very, very impressive tech. And then you'll see that they swoop up into the atmosphere. They'll go to a different, they swoop down to another spot on the planet where the camera zooms straight down, and they're going to go into a cave. No load screens there. We don't need no stinking load screens. Boom. Straight in. Oh, yeah. Straight in. Just like that. And they show the interior. No load screens there. And this whole thing was just a big flex. And it really felt like a direct response, even though I don't think it was, a direct response to Starfield. Because at this same time was when people were finishing Starfield and people have been talking about the load screens disrupting the flow of gameplay and exploration and all this. And then they dropped this and just show this is how it's done. And people were really excited to see, oh, it is possible technically if you have the technology for it. And that was back in 2023. Fast forward to today. There is expected to be what is colloquially being referred to as Starfield 2.0. And it's expected to launch next year. It's expected to launch probably next year with DLC and a PS5 port as well. And that this is expected that that it's going to try and reduce load screens, or at least cover them up with like animations that play over top of the load screens instead of a static image while it loads. It's going to actually play like a little animated thing of the ship traveling through the clouds and stuff like that. So they're going to try to cover it up. But with this, they're going to have Squadron 42 releasing at the same, like potentially within months even, of Starfield 2.0, but with this tech. Like you could actually end up in a spot where again the comparison is drawn with CIG's tech and seamless transitions and space components versus Starfield's. Like it's going to be very, very interesting to see how it plays out, because I think it's going to show people what's actually possible when you have some cutting edge tech for sure. But what else did he say? Continuing on. Equally important is the quality of the content itself, from writing and performance capture. From writing and performance capture to characters, environments, ships, lighting, sound, cinematics, and design. The level of care across the entire game is something I'm incredibly proud of. Combined with deeply interactive systems, it creates an experience that pulls you into the world and keeps you there. And all of this builds up to a final statement, okay? Final statement, kind of going through all of this. For Squadron 42, our priority remains quality and polish as we move forward toward beta and release. We're confident in the direction that the game is headed and are fully focused on delivering. We know many of you are eager to play, and we're looking forward to putting it in your hands. We don't plan on a long, drawn-out marketing campaign, as we've already done our share of trailers and gameplay previews. When it's time, you and the rest of the gaming world will hear a lot more from us. Their goal is to still release it next year. It's on track for the 2026 release date, and they think they're actually going to hit it. So that seems to be the point. That seems to be the point. I think that it's realistically probably going to launch and be like an 8.5 would be my guess. Like, you know, it's a B. Maybe like a B plus if it's really well executed. They have some phenomenal voice acting talent, some phenomenal motion capture talent. I think that they're going to probably have a lot of production value pumped into this thing, and I don't think there's going to be another single player game quite like it. But knowing CIG, I'm guessing it's not going to run particularly great, and that's my expectation. I hope that they optimize it to hell and back and that it runs really well and is well put together. I will believe it when I see it, because as of today, they still have not made anything that runs well. But maybe this is the first step. Maybe they'll actually pull it off this time. But they say that they're going to release it next year. And if they actually can pull it off, it'll be surprising. It'll be the first Star Citizen related thing that's actually been launched. It will be, I think, 14 years after they started work on it. So, you know, if they nail it, it still probably is a while before a sequel, but we'll see. They seem to be committed to doing it, and it looks like they're actually going to do it. So, so there you go. There you go. It's going to be interesting to see. But I think this time next year, we'll probably be talking about what we thought, our final, our final feelings towards Squadron 42. Like, it's kind of crazy, but we're actually probably going to be in that spot. Wild. Tazmeister, 7 months. Thank you. Hey, Luke, 10 months ago, I sent a super chat stating that I'm going to be a dad. Today at 26, so at 1:26 in the morning, my daughter was born. New subscriber en route. Hell yeah, dude, congratulations. That's fantastic. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. I remember that first day when I had my first, and it's just very surreal, and like you're kind of walking on clouds and just floating. Like you're like, what's happening? What's happening? So I'm sure you're in that same spot. I'm humbled you're here. That's crazy, but I appreciate you, and congratulations, dude. That's absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. Congratulations. I think I do remember that post specifically because Taskmaster is a very unique name, so I think I actually do remember that very specific post 10 months ago. That's crazy. Congratulations, my friend. Congratulations. You can float. Yeah. Only once you have a kid, though. It's required. Yeah.
He took my thing.